Hi guys, it's Rob here from Mindset First, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Mindset. This week, I'm gonna give you guys the top 5 ways to increase your confidence. So, confidence is one of those things that is needed in every single facet of life. Whether you are an athlete, whether it may be at work, whether it is, in school when it comes to presenting or to speaking to people, when it comes to building relationships from a communicative standpoint, or just simply approaching individuals. Confidence is a must in all areas of life. And so today what I want to give you guys is my top 5 ways to increase your confidence and really go out there and crush it every single time. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I need you guys to focus on is your self-talk. So, we have both positive self-talk as well as negative self-talk. So I'm gonna need you guys to really focus on your positive self-talk. So positive self-talk is going to be reiterating positive things to yourself, right? So, reminding yourself of the things that you are good at, reminding yourself of how far you've come, telling yourself that you are good enough, telling yourself that you are worth it, that you can do it, that you will do it. It is extremely important that we reinforce some of these things and that our conversation with ourselves is a positive and proactive one. One of the most common things that we do on a daily basis is speak to ourselves, whether that is through simple thought processes or just ideas kind of bouncing in our head. The inner conversation or the silent conversation that we have with ourselves on a daily basis, it is absolutely huge and it happens all the time. And so because of that, this is going to be the first thing that you guys are going to have to focus on. Keep that conversation positive, keep that conversation optimistic, and keep that conversation to help you develop the most amount of growth. Keep it very proactive and positive, guys. So that is the first thing. We're going to look at self-talk. Now, the second step, or the second thing that I really believe is absolutely critical to improving confidence, is going to be your body language, right? So when we see an individual who's got what we call negative body language, it is very simple or easy to tell that that individual doesn't believe in themselves. They may feel defeated. They are projecting to the outer world that they are maybe upset or frustrated or whatever the case may be. So positive and strong body language is a critical component here. So I want you guys to keep in mind, right? If you are walking around or something has happened and we drop the shoulders, the head drops, whatever the case may be, right? I want you to be very conscious of this and I want you to be aware. So I want you to really focus on pulling the shoulders back, head up, chest out, very nice and strong. Even if you're just standing and waiting for something, you could you could even go into a power stance, as we call it, or maybe your hips are on your hands are on your hips. Sorry, maybe your hands are behind your back to again allow you to pull the shoulders back, the chest out, the head up. Positive body language gives a very powerful energy, and it tells those around us that we know what we're talking about, that we know what we're doing, that we are confident and we are ready to go. So again, when we are projecting and we are pushing out positive body language, this not only tells those around us how we are feeling or how we are kind of thinking of ourselves, but actually what happens is there is a chemical reaction happening inside the brain that causes us to be more uplifting, to have more confidence, to have better self-belief, right? So if we can tap into that energy through the natural chemical reactions that happen in the body, we then will have a higher level of confidence as we move through whatever it is that we need to do throughout the day. So the second thing is going to be positive and strong body language. Very important. The number 3 thing that I want you guys to focus on is visualization. So visualizing yourself succeeding in certain elements and certain things that you're doing is absolutely critical. So the more that we can get mental repetition and seeing ourselves succeed in whatever element that you're trying to succeed in, it is very important. It causes us to have a greater sense of belief, and the mind perceives this almost as if you've done it already, and almost as if you've completed that task and succeeded at it. And so when we go to actually doing the task, we tend to be much more confident because we've already seen ourselves do it in the way that we would like to do it and succeed at it. Mental repetition is huge. The same way that we do physical repetition when we're learning things such as technique, or if you are, let's say, preparing for a presentation and you're going over it multiple times, right? That is repetition. And the more repetition we get doing things the right way and seeing the success of it, the more confident we feel when we go into whatever it is that we need to do. And so the same concept works with visualization. If we take our time to visualize and have mental repetition of seeing ourselves succeed in that particular aspect, we then will increase our confidence, our self-belief, and that only leads to increased self-worth and a greater sense of strength and ability in yourself as you move forward, which of course is a very great thing. And all in all, it leads to a greater sense of confidence. So again, visualization is absolutely critical. You can do visualization in the morning, you can do it in the evening. There's no perfect time to visualize. It is more of a preference. I personally like to start my day with a little bit of visualization to kind of set the standard for what is to come for the remainder of the day. So again, number 3 is going to be visualization. Number 4 is going to be setting goals. So when I'm talking about setting goals, we've all heard about SMART goal setting and we all have big goals that we're trying to achieve and kind of like quote unquote end goals. But what I want you guys to focus on is setting process goals. So process goals are going to be smaller goals. They're achievable yet challenging. However, they are much smaller as well. So an example, I'm going to take a runner, right? So an example would be to run, today I'm going to run 100 meters 5 times. Tomorrow, my goal is going to be to run 110 meters 5 times. The day after is going to be 130 meters 5 times under a certain amount of time, right? We want to try to be able to have some kind of way that we can measure what it is that we're doing. So process goals are going to be very small, challenging yet attainable goals that work you towards that big end goal. And so the way that the brain processes this is we're constantly seeing ourselves succeed in these tiny little goals. And so we start to gain a momentum as we work towards that end goal. And, we've achieved 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, 4, 5, so on and so forth. By the time we get closer to the end goal, our levels of confidence are going to be very, very high. We will feel very motivated because we're able to take all the positives from achieving those small goals along the way. And this really adds up to a really big thing. So do not underestimate the power of setting smaller goals and really, really focusing on the process rather than that big end result. I think a lot of us, we want results now. Patience is a really difficult thing, especially in a time like right now with COVID-19 and everything happening in the world. But there are ways to stabilize and to kind of balance the ship. So one of those ways to increase confidence and really stabilize things is through process goal setting. So set smaller goals, attainable yet challenging, and really look to crush multiple goals throughout the week that way. Now, the last thing that I want you guys to really focus on, and this is going to be the last step to my top 5 ways to increase your confidence, and this is going to be reiterating the positive aspects and celebrating the small wins. This is one of the biggest things that we need to do, but this is also one of the biggest things that we do not do. Majority of athletes I work with and majority of people that I speak to do not celebrate the small wins because they're small, right? So again, we are in a world and society where we are constantly looking for instant gratification, and that gratification needs to be big, right? We're always looking for the next big thing, which is very understandable. However, the small wins are the ones that really, really count, because when you add a lot of small things together, we get a big thing, right? So when we celebrate the small wins, I like to look at it as completing the puzzle, right? If you have a 1,000-piece puzzle, every single piece is very valuable. It is very, very important. And so if we celebrate every little small win, by the time that we get to accomplishing that big goal or celebrating that big success, our levels of confidence are going to be skyrocketing. We will be feeling great. We will be ready for our next challenge, and we will be ready to embark on the next journey. So it is absolutely necessary that we celebrate the small wins, recognize the small wins, and really pay attention to them and give them the importance that they are due. I cannot stress this enough, guys. This is something that I lacked when I was a young athlete. This is something that a lot of the athletes I work with also lack. This is something that must not be overlooked. So let's celebrate the small wins. Let's celebrate the little things that we're able to achieve on a regular basis, and I can promise you guys that your levels of confidence are going to improve drastically. I want you guys to keep in mind one thing. Confidence building is not something that happens overnight. Confidence building is not something that happens, in a week's time or a month's time. It takes a ton of time to increase confidence and to really get to a confidence level where you see a very noticeable difference. So if you guys can do the 5 things that I mentioned today, so positive self-talk, positive body language, visualization, setting your process goals, and really celebrating the small wins, I promise you guys that if you stay consistent with this for a minimum of a month, you will start to see a very drastic change in your confidence. You will start to see a drastic change in the way that you feel, in the way that you carry yourself, and in the results of the things that you were doing on a daily basis, which of course, this is what we are all trying to achieve: better results, better performance, and a higher level of self-satisfaction. So guys, if you enjoyed the video today, leave a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate everybody who was watching. And remember guys, have a fantastic week, and the mindset always wins.